headache.
Alright, it's the day after Independence Day. I've been trying to make a couple videos. My fuchsias have quit putting out as many flowers, and they started getting a whole bunch of things that looked just like the back part, and so I finally deadheaded those, hoping that I'd produce more. And now I've got a whole bunch of little ones, which I'm hoping soon will come, because the hummingbirds really like my fuchsia, even though they don't come to my feeders. I cut off all the seed pods on my columbines because I don't want them spraying everywhere or going in my gardens. Hydrangea, soon to bloom. I have no idea what this thing is. It either reseeds itself or it comes back every year. It's got kind of pretty flowers, so I just let it go. My project for yesterday was this over here. I moved my bleeding hearts, which are back there. I moved them closer to the house since they always fall away from it, and it'll make it easier to mow, so we planted some grass seed. And the stones are just to kind of show us where they go. And I transplanted my bachelor buttons because I pulled almost all the bachelor buttons out of my garden and put them over here. It's one of my borges. I did the same thing too. I just didn't like the way they kept falling over in my garden. Okay, and I'm chewing gum. I hope this isn't terribly annoying. So again, here's the other borage that I transplanted out of my garden. I wanted them to still be close enough to attract the bees. My broccoli, I've been getting the teeniest little heads this year. This is the same seed packet I used last year. I'm just not getting much. I top dressed with some more compost. My cilantro keeps trying to bolt, so I'm kind of pinching off the tops, hoping it'll grow thicker. My calendula is finally blooming. I'm terribly excited, and it's this beautiful color. My romaine, I transplanted this head on the left from two that grew fairly close on the other side, and I didn't think it was going to make it, but it's the third day and it's perking right back up after nice deep waterings. My little forklocks down there, really not doing much yet. I'm curious to see how they bloom. Some cauliflower. Carrots over there are not bolting, but they're growing tall. Nice red salad. Beets. I pulled up my arugula and my spinach, and I planted parsley. Transplanted my lemon thyme. I kept one of the arugula flowers that had bolted because they have lovely flowers. Here's my fennel. My cabbages are getting nice big heads. It looks like I'm going to get a whole bunch at one time. Sweet Williams, cauliflower, primrose, and my very sad looking nasturtiums. Here's my cauliflower. It's kind of doing okay. We've had the third rainiest month, well, it was from June, on record. We didn't have in all of June one mostly sunny day. So here's some of my snap peas, which are doing pretty good. I'm trying to encourage them to grow up, and I'm not sure how to train them as well because they don't seem to grow where I want them to. They always seem to try and branch out everywhere. So this is my beefsteak tomato. Anyway, so there's some flowers right there. I was going to let it start developing some flowers. I'm trying to keep this thing. I don't want them to get too friendly. I've got some seeds down here. I've got some little carrot seedlings because carrots and tomatoes get along pretty well. I can't remember what this is. It may be weed, but I doubt it. That one is. Here's excuse me, one of the leek bottoms, but it's been pretty hot past couple days. And these were either cilantro or parsley, I can't remember. This is my chocolate mint. He's just kind of hanging out, not doing as well as I'd like. I keep him in this container because mint's pretty aggressive. Some rainbow chard. This was one of my tomato seedlings from all the way over by the other area by my purple tomato. I'll show you in a minute. He was doing good, so I gave him his own home, and I'm keeping him under here to just keep some of the moisture in and yet retain the heat. This is the butterhead lettuce. Now, I know it doesn't show up, but this lettuce has kind of an interesting texture. It's kind of rubbery, and it's not that it's bad. I probably won't grow it again. It doesn't grow as quickly as I would like. Maybe it'll be better when I let it grow really large, like as in using it for leaf wraps, but it's just really not my favorite, the texture and everything. So my collard greens are doing great over here. Again, some more broccoli. I think these are the best looking heads I've got. And then right here was my just red salad tomato, and I don't believe he had any flowers on him yet. I've been trying to encourage it to grow kind of up and out. And again, I keep the bottom all nice and clear. That was a leek bottom that we'd saved that's starting to grow up. And sorry about my aim. This long thing was a scallion where we did the same thing, and now it's starting to bolt. So I'm curious what the little head looks like. So I'm trying a different, this is what we've been using for our funguses. Normally we use the copper. I'm trying the sulfur one too to see if I have better results, because I've kind of hit a little bit of a plateau, but I'm really determined to use organic. I planted more green bean seeds after pre-soaking them for about an hour, because I've only, it's 9 per square foot, and I've only got a couple of each that came up, or I had problems with cutworms. My curry squash, I'm starting to get some flowers, so I am super excited. I just want to try and encourage it to start growing this way. I don't want it to go over this way too much. This is the broccoli I cut off. Again, I pulled out all of my arugula or my spinach, since it just really wasn't, if I'm going for a dark leafy green, I'm going to go for kale or collards. What you get is worth so much more, maybe unless I plant them more intensively like my salads like that, so they'll grow up more. I mean, that's worth experimenting since I have the seeds, but I just wasn't terribly pleased. My basil, again, doing very little. More butterhead lettuce and some oregano in the middle. Again, some of these nasturtiums, these two beds, they just don't seem to be doing super well. I've got some fennel, and I believe those are carrot seedlings. We'll see once they really start to come up. I don't know, they look kind of fuzzy. Maybe I reseeded my fennel. I can always transplant them when I need. As you can tell, this kale is doing great. It is about to bolt, so I need to use the top. That's what I've been doing, just to try and slow it down. Now here's some more collard greens. I started these seeds at the same time. And again, when you look at the difference between those ones and the ones over there, these ones aren't doing near as well. They're a lot smaller. My sweet williams are looking very happy. No flowers yet, but that's okay. Same with over there. I think I've got something that should be happening on this other side, but I don't see much other than that onion. This is the first cauliflower that I've seen with a little white head. And I use my cauliflower instead of, here's some more cauliflower. I use it instead of rice. What I use is, I put it in like a food processor, or I grate it, and it gets a nice fine consistency like rice, and there's none of the negative side effects that eating an overload of carbohydrates. And it's a great way to cheat and get more vegetables in, and no drawbacks. The taste is really actually very good. And I do a paleo diet, and it's I feel so much better. I used to be vegetarian, and now I'm not, so I'm just kind of avoid the carbohydrates as much as possible, other than vegetables. So here's my potato leaf tomato. And I pinched back everything that looked kind of spotty. And he's doing okay. Not super great, but we'll just hang in there with him and kind of keep encouraging him. Again, my carrots are interspersed everywhere. I've noticed everything when it's going to bolt, it starts to turn fuzzy, kind of like going through puberty. Here's my carrot, or broccoli. You see how my broccoli always tends to get these very loose heads. They're very sweet and tasty and tender though. I've got another oregano down there with some onions. But that's about it in that spot. I believe that one was supposed to be leek, but I'm not quite sure. And that is my goji berry, the one I just got from the bulk section and split it open and started the seeds. I'm not sure if the leaves are edible. I'm gonna have to look that up. My little jalapeno pepper, not doing much, but hey, it's not dead. And that haven't as much of a problem with the black spot as some of the other things. Here's my purple prince. And he's starting to try and get some flowers too. Right here. I'm trying to do better with my aim. My other videos have been driving me nuts because my aim is so atrocious. Again, when I see, I don't know if you can see this right here, but when I see anything coming out at the joint, or what they call the crotch, I pick it out because it's what they call a sucker. And you really don't want any suckers. They could produce, but they won't generally produce as much. It kind of saps the vitality of your plants. So, again, here's a bigger one. And you can make those start a new plant, but anyway, let's see, over here I've got some more of my, this thing's going to start getting, you can see these beautiful purple flowers. My borage and my bachelor's buttons over here. My dianthus is done. I was hoping if I cut it back it would produce more because it had these beautiful fragrant flowers. Okay, so back there, I believe this one was my zucchini. It's looking great. Enjoying the past couple days of sun. And even though we've had a lot of rain lately, it has at least been warm for us, which is like in the 60s. I know the whole rest of the country's been dealing with 90s and 100s, so we'd be happy to share if we could all balance it out. Onions are looking good. Where we pulled out the borage, we went and planted some more. I really just kind of picked something that was cheap. We want to draw in the pollinators and make a whole bunch of different fragrances to confuse our confuse the bad bugs and draw in the bees. And give me a hard time trying to say what I'm trying to say. So we've got some cilantro. Again, my cilantro is really spindly and small, so I've been trying to pinch it down. I need to go through and harvest my strawberries today. I like the white because it's pure and very lovely, but I think next time I'm going to pick a different color, maybe something that really catches the eye a little bit more. Again, here's my kale. We had the wonderful opportunity to donate a whole bunch recently, and that's part of why we planted so much, was hoping that we'd have that opportunity. So you can see I just pick from the bottom and work my way up, unless I see some seed pods, in which I just snap off the top, which most of these have tried to bolt, which you think they wouldn't because of our weather. This was that seeds I saved from a yellow store-bought pepper. I'm really just curious at what I get. There's some basil. I started from seed. And here is a yellow pepper plant I bought from the store. And I let one of my runners go. Again, I got a little bit of fennel back there. Ooh, starting to get some very nice, absolutely teeny heads. Got some strawberries. Some of my nasturtium is finally going. The two little cucumbers, I keep them covered on cold, rainy days. in these little homemade cloches. And that just helps to keep them warm, trick them into thinking it's warmer than it is. Here's my lavender, which at some point is going to just explode with flowers, drawing the bees. My nasturtium, I harvested some of the flowers for dinner yesterday. There is some more of the green beans, again where I planted some more. Now this fennel bolted. Now I'm not sure if that's going to prevent it from making a nice head on the bottom or not, but again, this is my first time trying a lot of things. I figure worst case scenario, I get some pretty flowers and nothing to eat. And really, it's still edible. It might not be as tasty sometimes once it's bolted, but same thing over here. I've got my strawberries intermixed with my Swiss chard, or rainbow chard, either way. More kale. Strawberries. Another beautiful head of cabbage. I've been harvesting the outer leaves so they don't make a haven for slugs. As you can tell, I've been having a real problem with those in the, I believe they're cabbage loopers, but they've been absolutely teeny. So it kind of makes me wonder if they were cabbage loopers or I'm just catching them small. Anytime I see a lovely little white moth, I always chase them off, and I think the neighbor kids laugh at me hysterically. Anyway, more nasturtium, more squash. I can't remember if this one's my curry or my zucchini. I believe this one was the curry. I can look at my labels. I have them inside my chart. There's another 4 o'clock coming up. These did terrible when I started them indoors. And they're just kind of poking around. There's another teeny weeny little fennel seed poking up amongst some weeds. And then over here, I've got some more flowers coming out on this squash. This one is making me think it was a zucchini, but I'll have to check. Very excited. I love zucchini bread. And look at this teeny little fennel already trying to bolt. So premature, but oh well. Some more 4 o'clocks. The cilantro over here looks like it's doing okay. My nasturtium looks okay. This is the bed that's been a little bit disappointing in that things seem to not be doing as well over here. You can see some of my neighbor's weeds poking up. If I had to do this side again, I would have made the beds a little different. But again, we only rent, so we had to use the beds in a way that our landlord would approve. I have beets in here. And I'm not exactly sure when to pick them. Let's see if I can aim this properly. They are starting to get a nice little bulb on the bottom. You can see where my fingers are. It's the bulb, but I was going to wait them for a little while. Now, you might be thinking, oh, look at those leaves. They've been ravaged by the slugs. I actually still use them. But what I do is I put them in a smoothie or juice them. I have a masticating juicer, and it works really, really good for dark leafy greens, which is part of why we have so much kale. And also, I want to say it's omega. I'm just having a space right now. Again, look at my teeny little cabbage over here. And this nasturtium was trying to put out flowers as well, but it's not doing so great. And then these are my snap peas, doing pretty good over here. Looks like I have some I need to take care of. You just got to keep picking them if you want it to keep growing. Okay, time for the backyard. By the way, look at that. I know the rest of the country has been looking at this for the longest time, but you know, we kind of forgot here in Washington that the sky actually was blue. So our rain barrel, you know, has a hole in it. I think my husband should just put a better plug in because our spout, because that spout sucks. But what we've been doing is just putting a big old tub underneath and catching it in between all of our different tubbies. So here's my one asparagus that survived. I think it was my fault. I did not plant the roots proper. I totally buried them rather than leaving the crowns up like strawberries. Here's my celery. Again, I just side dressed some stuff. There's some flowers. Here's two of my bachelor's buttons that I transplanted. And my raspberries. Again, on this side, these couple right here are my everbearing. And they're not ripe until they're a very almost purple red. Like, those aren't ripe yet. And you can tell by just gently pulling on the raspberries. If they come off with almost no effort, then they're ready. These ones are ripe at a much different color. And it's interesting how, you know, the more mature shoots have almost no spines on them, at least of the June berry. These ones, I don't know if you can see, but they have spines all over. But anyway, but the new growth of these raspberries do, the ones that come out from the roots. So that's interesting. But they have lots of raspberries, and I have found that I really prefer the taste of the June bearing versus the everbearing. You know, they're just a lot sweeter, and yet combined with a nice juicy tartness. I'm having a little bit of problem with these absolutely teeny weeny little flying, but they're like flea-sized creatures, little bugs inside of my raspberries. Sometimes I had the same problem with them inside my radishes, so I don't know what they are. My potato plant has been ravished by slugs. I really hate slugs. I found the largest slug the other day. It was bigger than my thumb. Massively bigger. And it was fatter. Oh my gosh, it was disgusting. It was spotted too. Not quite like a banana slug. Again, I just kind of top dressed it. I pulled out a lot of things, and some things I just let bolt, like my radishes here do nothing except for bolt. Got a little bit of broccoli. I planted some more green beans. My celery doesn't look like it's doing too bad. Primrose is done for now. Hopefully I'll get more. More celery. Red fig tomato. Really looking forward to it. I've got onions and bachelor's buttons over there. A little basil that's not dead with some carrots. And some cauliflower with one, that is one marigold that I started from seed. My blueberry bushes. This one is supposed to be the early bearing. And all I find is sometimes the berries just look, I think it's like sick or something. Sorry, we've had a lot of wind. But I think, let's see if I can get it to focus. I mean, you see how this one starts to turn blue over here? But then what happens is they just like end up shriveling up and falling off. And I'm not entirely sure why. Last year it was a great producer, so little concerned. And then this one is supposed to be my mid to late bearing, and that one already looks like it has some that are turning purple. So I don't know. All I know is that blueberries picked from the vine taste absolutely nothing like the ones you buy in the store. They taste super delicious. So again, I used the new silver fungicide because I've been having some problems. Here's my rubinette. And you can see, again, I don't know if this is sun scorch or black spot, like a fungus. But whatever it is, it's not very good looking. The back is brown. So I try and kind of pick off the yucky leaves and leave only the good leaves, but the problem is it's infecting so many of my leaves, and I don't want to just deprive it of the sunshine. And it seems to affect the smaller leaves just as much as the big ones. Like some even turn yellow. The moisture level's nice. It's not sopping wet. It drains really well. So anyway, this one has started to try and shoot sideways up here, but I'd really like it to shoot sideways more somewhere around here. And it keeps growing tall. And this is my Honeycrisp. Again, doing the same thing, a little bit of that browning of the leaves, whatever that is. I don't know. Sure looks like black spot, so maybe the sulfur spray will take care of it. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a wonderful day.